And this is like for the new people, Orthodox catechumens or converts or inquirers, and it's a little bit of this is a serious matter, serious subject. Okay, so especially I'll get to that near the end because it'll be based on my experience based on my personal experience, and hopefully it'll give some insight or some idea or something. Who knows? Others will connect the dots if they see something concerning as well. But I just have I have some advice or some. I do have things to say for the newer generation of people coming in, and I think there's a lot of great energy. Because because I've seen numerous people share their experiences on different platforms, and a lot of great ones. And like one lady explained why and how it came to her. Like she came to Orthodoxy out of all the other faiths. She tried a lot of things out, took the time. Like she was very spot on with what she said about Orthodoxy. Like it's because there's great people anyway, but there's something that maybe they're okay on this, they have this or that correct, but but with Orthodoxy, you got that foundation. You have that was a good response on that, because history will trace to it, and it's of course not a perfect church. There is none, and there never was. If you know what St. Paul said, remember when St. Paul said, "Thank God I didn't baptize any of you." Anyway, so that's the reason for all that Christ left for us to, to learn from the hierarchy, the clergy, as our mediators and guides. This faith is the most beautiful gift. It's gold. A lot of things, there can be things disheartening about people and situations, and it's the faith that's the main thing. So all the reason I want to put my personal advice and stuff out to a lot of people, or it can be whoever's listening. I see a lot of new energy. There actually is a lot of potential, a lot of new energy, because we can always use it. But anywhere can always use that. So so much talent. Everyone has talent, but there's a lot of young, intelligent, talent out there. It's not bad. It's not bad for anyone to share their experiences, big or small. Anyone can share their experiences. So, because even if you don't think it's significant, it'll be significant to someone else, or it'll be significant next time. Keep sharing your experiences, and that's good. Like, you went from here to here, or you went from here to here, then back here to here. It doesn't matter. It's everything is step by step. So yeah. Okay, so based on my personal experiences, especially as the oldest of three to my dad, who's his upbringing was, not religious parents, and then he tried things out in his generation and went to seminary, Roman Catholic seminary. But his experience with Catholicism is what led him to Orthodoxy. Actually, he was always praying for the unity of the faith, but he connected very well with everyone, especially all kinds of people, and then even for as I know, I was even baptized Roman Catholic, but when a lot of people followed my dad's example, and even that Roman Catholic godfather became Orthodox, from what I heard, and other people, and that was a step towards Orthodoxy. But so it was, because I took my notes here because I've had a lot I'm trying to say. Yeah, he was ordained priest in the 1980s. Yeah. It was kind of rough near the end, but anyway, I'll get to that. But it was, so I have a few things in his memory. The Archpriest cross, and I remember the time he came back from Kodiak, Alaska, when we were there, and he was given that from a father innocent. I remember when he came home, and it was from the church over there. I remember that. It was a long time ago, but it was like we've been pretty much all over, and all he ever wanted to do was to serve God. He was Archpriest Benjamin Henderson, and and I remember we've seen descendants of saints, scholars, and just different, in disciples of saints. We've seen quite a bit of interesting people. The great-great-grandson of Saint Innocent was really interesting when he visited from Russia and Alaska when we were in Kodiak that time, like early 90s. He didn't speak English, but it was really interesting. But someone said, don't put on Tom and Jerry because they're going to miss their plane when they go back. It was so cute. Anyway, I've seen quite a bit in my time. I've seen a lot of experiences because I'm concerned with I am concerned with a lot of the way Orthodoxy is and what has so much isn't the same. I'll elaborate on that, but because firsthand things I've seen are concerning, and I'm just hoping for the newer generation to come in and notice certain things. But anyway, because I've seen my side of from the clergy family end, it's a different perspective than definite lay family. It's just a different. It is, and it's kind of isolating from other clergy families or PKs or whatever they call it, because a lot of them are spread out or have different reasons. So it's kind of not what some people might think if they think of becoming a clergy wife or something. It's not always what people think. It's a cross to bear for sure. It's a different side of it, and so much just isn't the same anymore. A lot of people know that now too, especially at the very end, which spoke volumes to me recently in the last few years. You all know how it is. For instance, you think of who your real friends are when you're having the most trouble, or you go through something, and you'll know who really cares. You'll know, but the level of that was concerning in the end too, which I'll get to. It was once I caught on to something so systematic and toward my father that not everyone saw, but it was real. It was very real, and I have proof of that. But plus betrayal is real. That it's who you least expect. And a number of people in on that too. But anyway, because people were fundraising also that was part of when I saw first, when I started to notice something was wrong. When a few years ago, when I figured out that people were fundraising off of my dad and his cancer, and says that he barely got over, and then he was they were fundraising. A lot of people were fundraising off of his heart attack. It was actually a lot of people were involved in that, and he didn't even know about that. He didn't have time. So it was, because I was even the last to know about his heart attack and open heart quadruple bypass, and he was being defamed. This was surreal. This was unbelievable. This was I was busy with my life and working or not working, or living somewhere, and I just didn't. I was catching on to this. It was like hard to believe. Yeah, defaming me as well when I was trying to get him help. So, or showing, I mean, I was the only one in town there for him, and this was when it was really, okay, because, I didn't expect certain things from my mother to be the master manipulator of, but it's not even about her. I'm talking about the situation, and all of the ones that are in on that, I just couldn't believe it. But that's something that happened. Men get abused too, and betrayal it really happens, and that was hurtful. That was hurtful enough, but I don't know what was with everyone else, but because when I really saw how unwell he was, making me so concerned, and my attempts to find help were being sabotaged maliciously. It was shocking. Like, suddenly, a few years ago, at 39, I'm 42. At 39 years old, at random, I'm suddenly a crazy person. That made no sense. I was never known like that before, but all of a sudden, regardless of me, I was not making it about me. I was barred, like, really, I was in different ways from knowing where he was. It's really scary not knowing if he's dead or alive. It was surreal. The police were refusing to help me get a missing person. I couldn't do anything. This was surreal. It was terrifying and shocking. My brother and sister lived out of state, so they didn't see what I saw and really were not believing me. And I figured then I noticed it was being intentional, and the trauma of all that, and not knowing if he's dead or alive was used to even show, like, just to say I was unstable. It was just crazy, but, like, some facts I will probably not get into exactly right now, but I do have a lot of proof, and so many things unexplained, but stuff from when I did figure a way to get to my father. And then I'm glad I did, when I eventually did, these last 2 years, because that's when I was able to help best I can. He passed away May 30th, but there's so many things, like, why? No clergy helped. No place helped. No APS helped. No adult protective. They were actually conversing with people that were concerned, that were the problem. There was no discretion. There was everything I went to for help backfired. It was just unbelievable. And I was alone in this. I don't know why. No clergy help. Not even locally. No clergy. Like, the whole time. So my dad went through a whole heart attack and open heart. No one to bring them. No one to even. This was not making sense to me. And everyone he loved is far away, or all his clergy stuff, all his years of supplies were taken away and locked in a store, or who knows what. Everything in storage was not in his name. It's like. So after seeing more proof of the mistreatment after I was there, and then unfortunately I saw even more proof even after he passed, especially more. But I did have a lot of conversations proving the plotting and planning, and that was really upsetting. Like, this is very real, and like, I don't even exist, but I wasn't wrong. And because he was late for so long, being made a laughingstock. I don't even know for what. And dehumanized, and had corrupt fake charge on him in the end. I see that was the plot. I see it all. So I have all that proof. No one cared. But so that was obviously to cover up whatever else they were doing. But I found all that in a box of forged checks, all photocopied, and my birth certificate and my dad's birth certificate, all photocopied. And everywhere, I even tried to show this. Everything was ignored. So, a lot of clergy, a lot of bishops were ignoring me this whole time. So I'm concerned with what's going on. All of, but yeah, that's why. So like the bishop that he was put under at this, never, I was not quite in the loop this whole time, so I don't know why. It was because I was kind of unsure a long time ago what happened. Why was he blackballed from this jurisdiction? Now he's put under this other jurisdiction, but that diocese is far away. But someone that we have known, but we knew is kind of shady, but in Canada, but that person suddenly now is canonical in that diocese near us. But on that side, something is not right. It's just not making sense. And when I called that person before, he just was like, well, I'm too ill and too whatever to be whatever. Then he hung up on me. It was like people are acting like, this is not normal. This is not normal. But that one that was assigned as a bishop, I guess, over my dad, specifically this person, it was like, he sent a really nasty letter to my dad last year. Well, looking back at it again, it was really nasty and it was really weird. It was just, I was, and I heard that before I even found out where my dad was, that so-called bishop came here in El Paso one night, and I didn't even know, but my dad was kind of like telling me when I was with him, telling me, yeah, he was here, and then, but of course it was my mom driving him around and micromanaging everything, and then my dad was just barely remembering because he was in a fog. He was in a brain fog because of the illnesses and medicines, and that was when all this crazy stuff was being, because they took everything from, they took all this stuff, and my dad was like, yeah, and he but when it was just, but I don't know, I've never heard of things like that, a bishop's visit being so secretive. I haven't heard of that. So, and I was right in town. And that's when so yeah, it was, so when I was here, and on May 30th, that's when is when he passed, but I was for a while I was by myself, and no one looked out, no one checked. We struggled by ourselves with barely what we had, and I went through all this alone, calling the ambulance sometimes almost every other day, and it was scary, and we don't know what's going on. Our family was far away. Everyone's kind of like turned against us. The clergy it was just so unbelievable. No one deserves anything like this. And it was, I mean, it's overwhelming. I put my life aside to go be there for him, because it was really concerning when I got there too, at that apartment. He was put in an apartment for reasons he was lied about, but I found all that other stuff too. They didn't expect me to be there. And I was overwhelmed with the situation, wondering, well, if the system is already not our friend, we already know the system is not our friend, but I am the only immediate family and have been concerned, and anyone I called for help, it was ignored or backfired, like I was a joke as a human being, or I didn't exist. This is like, so I've never personally lost someone close. I mean, this is like, I'm going through this by myself. Like right now, I'm going through this. My brother and sister are overseas. I'm going through this alone. No priest. I mean, this is like, no one acknowledged that this is painful stuff. I've never personally, lost anyone really. My dad was always empathetic to people grieving, and always remembered he always remembered his parents' birthdays and their wedding anniversary as if they were always, he was a very loving person and very, it's just, this closeness and love is what led him to Orthodoxy. This was what, it was all connected to him. This was all, these are real souls he's concerned, he's trying to help, he's doing it for God. Yeah, but anyway, it's, so, and everything he worked for and loved was far away. It's just, and this was happening. They had him on probation with type 1 diabetes, extremely fluctuating I can only imagine what he was going through. Everything was taken. Everything. It was. He said he had to, when that so-called, bishop came from that diocese, he said he had to beg my mom when she was like, to even put this and one icon in that apartment, because there was something else going on where they moved him from. But this was in his apartment that he was in last, so everything else, I don't know. There was like years of stuff, and then, but yeah, this was there, so yeah. So the day I found him passing, like, that was a surreal thing. I went through that alone. That was real. That was really real. But when I knew his face was it was like, okay, I'm scared. I video called my brother also after waiting for the ambulance, because I was afraid to touch. I was afraid to tell, because there was a nurse walking by my apartment. She goes, because I think leaving someone's place, and then she goes, "I'm a nurse. Are you okay?" And then I said, my dad's type 1 diabetic. I don't know. It's something else. I think it's something else. I don't know. I'm afraid. I'm so afraid, because I just had a heavy feeling. It was scary. And I let her in. She just checks really quick the pulse, but she tells me he has a very faint pulse. I was waiting for the ambulance, and I'm calling my brother on video call, because he's working in Germany. So they got there, and I went with them to the ER, and I'll never forget. I did not want that to be real. It's like, I've been trying to say somebody help for like 3 years. But then then I've been trying to do that. I've been trying to say somebody help for 3 years. I've never lived in a world like that, maybe in movies. It's not funny though. He's not coming back. But I'm so concerned with people's, but when I had to go wait in a separate room, and then I had my brother still on the call, still on that phone, on that video call with me, and 2 people come in with a tissue box. That was very real. But that was so hard. I did not know. I don't know, but that was yeah. They tried everything, I guess they said, but it was not the blood sugar problem. It was not. But I don't know what. But I also wonder because the stuff I also noticed, the treatment he had when I wasn't there. I also wonder what else happened. It was like, because I saw some very concerning stuff, and I heard about things too, and it's like, so. But yeah, that was my brother heard that he did cry, and he was up with, it was nighttime his time, but he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry you're going through that alone." And then of course you're in that room, and they let you see them first after in the yard, and then he's like, "Give Dad a hug and kiss for me." I said, "I can't do this. I can't touch him. I can't do this." It was too hard for me to accept the whole thing. And then, yeah, because I also, it was just, yeah, because I wasn't, so, this is still like processing. This whole thing is still processing. Because that bishop, that so-called bishop, which I'm concerned about, because just because someone's technically in a certain system, and then I already noticed not normal behavior, and the other, a lot of their, I was silenced for trying to get help, actually, which is really concerning. So, I mean, but my dad's a human being, though, and even in all his supplies, he had even all kind of communion kits for people in prisons. I mean, there's no reason for a human being to be this ignored. I just have never seen this before. I've never seen this ever. But to completely ignore the whole time, like for years, and then, but yeah, this was like, it's like all my life has been flashing before my eyes, but this is really happening. The shock that it's still, my dad's not coming back, and so all my life, and see my dad's ways of helping people and serving God, and he served God as the giver of life, and this reality that something isn't right. He finally, and that bishop answered the phone, well, technically I guess he's in that office as the bishop over there at that place, LCA Southern Diocese, but he answers the day of right after my dad is dead. How that I did not, but it was not even there was not really even, it was not even because he cared, but it was he kept it short, but then said he's really busy, but he was kind of vague with something, and I was trying to ask, I was like, what happened the time you came in El Paso, where we are? I never heard of a bishop's visit being secretive. I was asking because I was here in town, but right away he just said, he said I was not a bishop. I was not a bishop then, by the way. So that lack of concern was just shutting me up there. But I just didn't want to. Okay. He is the way he is. So as far as that goes, I don't know, but that's pretty cool. He only answered like he was waiting for that, or how did he know? I don't even understand. It's pretty ice cold. I mean, I'm not just me, but these are people that are supposed to see these situations all the time, and these are something to be careful with, because these are souls. I mean, and in the people that it affects. I mean, they see this, so obviously that doesn't impact them, that people die. I mean, that's pretty cold, and they have that position out there. I don't understand. Yeah, but yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Years ago, a monastery I used to visit, the abbot, when he said to me, what you do to a priest, you're doing to Christ. At the time, I didn't always think of that, being a PK, it's kind of just so different, but, didn't always, but this recent experience reminded me and made me realize a lot more. Also, my dad always was, of course, genuine, wanting to serve, and it's like, if he really can tell someone's hungry, he'll figure something out to do what he can. It's like, he'll do anything for anyone. Like, I get that, He helped a lot of people. Actually, a lot of people but that also was preyed on as well in the end. It was like people used to turn that around. They took all these funds from that, and then there's people that's going into these churches that are like, I don't know, they're going to these, there's a lot of fakeness out there, and it's like, well, being honest doesn't mean others are honest. And just because my dad was aware of the responsibility of being a priest and knowing the betrayal at risk, doesn't mean others are aware of that responsibility and accountability. Just because it means something to you doesn't mean it'll mean something to them. But that's a lot of people turning their backs when someone was really a crisis. But, so yeah, not everyone is truthful. Yeah. So, yeah, it was. But yeah, of course, we all know over time that not everybody likes truthful people, and during these recent experiences of the last few years, especially people suddenly in uncanonical jurisdictions are suddenly in weird places in the canonical churches. There's concerning situations going on. But trust your instincts. So, but I definitely have. This is a lot of things I see are not. It's not the orthodoxy I remember. This is not, and it's not relevant to the COVID. I'm talking about something like because the people that were in on it are. They're focused on their plan. They stole my dad's money. Do people, even my mother that betrayed us, yeah, she was in on it with other people. And it's like, I'm not trying to get into some crazy kind of talk, but I have proof of all that. And the number of people that just turned there, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Because this is like, it was all planned, and who else can it happen to? Who else is this going to happen to? But at least I didn't want to go to the funeral because it was weird the way it turned out from what I heard for one thing. But I did not want to see my dad in a coffin. I could not do it. But I'm glad that when my brother came, I'm glad I heard that he was put in white vestments, and it was but he had to call his own priest that he knows from the East Coast. But something was blown off. I was trying to, he didn't know everything I knew, but I am glad. I was not wanting that bishop to be serving my dad's funeral. I was not. So, but it was my brother called somebody to, that same day of the funeral, apparently it was canceled, and because something was blown off, but that church has a priest locally too. I mean, it's their canonical, they're in communion with those. It's like where it was, because my dad first came here years ago it was in the Greek church. Well, I don't know what happened with the Greek church, but blackballed from there. But then eventually OCA. But I was busy with my life too, but I don't know there's so many unanswered questions now. So many shady people are in a lot of these, but there are a lot of shady people. If people are capable of fraud and get away with it, and there's people connected to that in the churches, I am concerned, and I don't know why I haven't had help or anything for this, or no one to even show. I'm concerned with what's going to happen in the church, and it's affecting a lot. And be careful, and also so. And hopefully they don't try to get saints canonized as saints but you got to be careful when they're anyone who's canonized a saint. Well, it should be a good thing, but but be careful if it's done of somebody without any miracles. Being a holy person or being, it's not done it's not about charisma. We're supposed to follow truth. But this is terrifying, what I've personally experienced, because I was also ambushed by police. I don't even have a record of anything. I'm not a harm or threat to anyone, and they were trying to put me in the mental hospital, and like maliciously, and it didn't go that way, but I could have lost my rights. I could have lost my rights and more. But it did not turn out that way. But I really have been trying to. I hope for answers. There should be accountability for one thing, and then things should not be happening secretive. That's just not normal like that. It's just not. And to have a perfectly good person ruined, when we also in a society where they're getting twisted if that's what the mental health system is going to do. But my dad was a licensed family marriage therapist many, many years. And I can't forget when I overheard that prior client that about 5-6 years ago, found him on the phone, and just my mom answered the call at the time, but unfortunately she took over that that communication. But the prior client thanked him, saying he saved my life. Now she's a therapist, and then she became Orthodox. But unfortunately, I guess I could not get a hold of her either. But I've been extremely, I don't even care about, it's not even about me, but I'm going through this alone. That is completely hard. I had to find places to go. I've had to handle everything like this alone. And there's not even a priest that I can talk to. It's just, I don't know what this has been. Hopefully this can help other people when they see something concerning. But it cannot be just one person. It needs people to really pay attention and be involved. And this is because it's not a sign of the times. It's like this is it's exploiting what is the truth and exploiting what is precious. And it's just going to take time. But if I'm sure. But I mean, this has been concerning, and it's going to affect everyone else too. The system and everyone can they let a perfectly good person get ruined. And it damaged my family, and it's not right. Imagine if yourself in my shoes. Imagine this, but yeah, this is kind of abbreviated, but I journaled all this stuff and saved all the stuff that I found, all that proof, and I have it saved, on a page separately, but I have it saved, I have it. If someone was going to ask for it, I have it, but I just haven't put it out there. But yeah, it's like, because I was like asking myself, is my grief even real? Normally, this is considered a time of grieving, but normally I would see people have support. I don't have any support because it was so, I was discredited for what? But the amount of money taken from someone real, and used for the churches and dioceses, and who knows what was in it. It was, but the thing is, it's not easy, I guess, to really think about this stuff, but I didn't get a trigger warning for this. I didn't see this coming. It was not my fault. It was not my dad's fault. But everything of the Holy Week and the betrayal, it's like, why does this have to feel like it's hitting me too literally? Like, where it's like, but it shouldn't justify it. This is not right. But if people ever notice anything concerning in their experiences, hopefully this will help. But I hope things can be turned around. I would have liked to have answers, and a lot of stuff it affected my identity crisis, kind of. A lot of my credit it put evictions on my record when it took, it affected my safety and my life. So yeah, it was relevant. I can't just move forward and not wish I had answers. Like nothing happened. No. I've never had closure. But I still know, but something isn't right. So I hope that things can be turned around over time, and new people bring great energy to this beautiful church. Thank you.